Hi everybody, Dr. Anthony Yoon, America's holistic plastic surgeon here. And today we're going to talk once again about how to look, live, and be better. And the subject of today's discussion, tonight's talk is wine. Now we all like wine, and a lot of us probably like red wine over white wine, although some of you may like the white better. And we're going to talk about some of the issues that some people have with drinking wine. Now, first, let's start actually talking about the health benefits of wine. Now, when we look at drinks that are good for us, we talk about green tea, we talk about coffee, but red wine actually is a very good anti-aging drink. And a lot of the benefits of anti-aging began to be discussed literally back a couple of decades ago when they had what's called the French paradox. And this was a 60 Minutes segment where people wondered, why is it that the French, who eat a lot of dairy, they eat a lot of simple refined carbs, why is it that they have such a lower rate of heart disease than Americans do? And a lot of people attribute it to a moderate consumption of red wine. So what is it in wine that is so good for us? Well, really what we look at is called the antioxidants in wine, and these are called polyphenols. And the major polyphenol in red wine that we talk about that has beneficial effects is called resveratrol. Now, if you've ever watched the Dr. Oz show, he has talked about resveratrol many times. And resveratrol basically is a powerful antioxidant that has been studied in laboratory animals to show that it can actually reverse heart disease, it can lower the risk of diabetes, and all of these beneficial things that antioxidants do. Now, red wine is technically better anti-aging wise than white wine. And the main reason why is with red wine, unlike, let's say, white wine or grape juice, that the red wine is actually in contact with the grape skins much longer. And that's how it gets those polyphenols, that resveratrol. Okay, so red wine, very good for you as a drink because of the powerful antioxidants. Antioxidants fight free radicals. Free radicals are damaging molecules that can damage us from the inside and out. We'll talk more about that in a future segment when we talk about antioxidants and creams. But suffice it to say, 1 glass of red wine is good for you as long as you can tolerate it. Okay. Wine does contain alcohol, and alcohol is a toxin. And that's why if you drink 1 glass of red wine, the antioxidant benefits override the negative toxic effects of the alcohol. But if you drink too much red wine, then unfortunately the negative toxic effects of that alcohol can actually override the positive antioxidant effects of the red wine. So stick with 1 glass a day. So today we're going to also talk about how you can tolerate your red wine better. Now, my wife is one person that sometimes when she has literally just 1 glass of red wine, she feels flushed afterwards and she gets a headache. You know, I've had that too, and I'm sure a lot of you have had that issue where you say, well, look, I love how my wine tastes. I have a glass of red wine, and afterwards I feel terrible. I feel flushed. I get a headache. Some people get even rashes. Some people even find that they kind of get a weird tickle in their throat. If that is you, it is possible that you're having a reaction to the sulfites and to the histamine in wine, in the red wine typically, although you can get that with white wine as well. Now, sulfites basically are preservatives. Wine does contain naturally sulfites. White wine actually contains more sulfites than red wine, but both of them do contain it. And some companies will actually add sulfites, which are basically preservatives, to the wine to have it basically last longer. Sulfites can cause reactions like headaches, like kind of malaise, just not feeling good after drinking it. But the other thing that wine contains that can cause issues for people is histamine. If you've heard of the term histamine, you've probably heard it in conjunction with, let's say, allergic reactions. And so the histamine that actually develops in wine when the grapes are fermented can also cause these types of symptoms: headache, malaise, flushing, And so red wine actually contains more histamines than white wine. And so if you're the type of person you say, well, geez, I drink white wine and it doesn't bother me, but man, I have one glass of red wine and I get a headache afterwards and this horrible hangover effect, then it could mean the histamines. So if that is you, if you've got an issue with headaches and flushing and all of that, I have a potential very simple solution for you. And it is called the wand. Now, my trusty camera person is out tonight at church, my wife, so I had to set the camera up myself. And so this is going to be actually backwards, as you can see. But suffice to say, you can kind of see what it is, the wand. And this is a cool little invention that, and let me open it up for you, that you take it out of the package, and it looks like this. Okay, it's a plastic little device that has, it almost feels like a tea bag on the end. So you take this wand and you put it in your wine and you just go ahead and swirl it in your wine for about 3 minutes. And what this is going to do is it is actually going to absorb those histamines and those sulfites to get rid of them. And you give it 3 minutes, it will absorb all of that into the little nanoparticles openings that this has to get rid of them. You do it for 3 minutes, and if you do have a severe reaction, if you're the type that gets a really bad headache or really bad flushing, then you can actually get rid of more the longer you do it. After a while, it gets old, so if you're doing it for 10 minutes, it's probably going to be a bit excessive. But you do it for 3 minutes, and then you go ahead and drink the wine. And what this is going to do is it's going to once again absorb those histamines and the sulfites. By absorbing it, it will also give it more of an aerated taste. So if you've ever had wine that has been aerated, usually you pour it through an aerator, it takes a little of that kind of sharp taste out of it and just helps to bring out the natural taste in wine. So this is a super cool little contraption, a little kind of hack type of a contraption, biotype hack that you can use to tolerate your wine much better. I have used it myself and it actually works. I used it, drank a glass of red wine, and lo and behold, I had no symptoms afterwards. Now, you may ask, okay, what about, you look at me and say, well, he's Asian. Can he tolerate red wine anyway? There are people who do not tolerate red wine, and you've probably seen them. It's called the Asian flush, is what a lot of people call it. Scientifically, it's called acetaldehyde dehydrogenase deficiency. And this is basically an issue that some Asians have. It's estimated about 35% of the population where they cannot tolerate alcohol. They do not have the enzyme in their system to break down alcohol. If that is you, the wand is not a solution, okay? That is a whole other issue. The wand is purely for histamine and sulfite reactions. But if you are the type, especially if you're Asian and you can't drink alcohol at all, this is not going to help you. That's a separate issue. So, very simple solution. If you like wine, try it.